Hello and welcome back for another video. So recently, like usual, I put out a poll on my community page on my YouTube asking what do the viewers want to see. One of the top winners was shooting basketball with the 135mm f1.8 RF mount Canon lens. So here it is. I rented it from Lens Pro to Go per usual and took it to a doubleheader last night. And boy, was that a doozy. Being stuck at 135 under the basket is very, very tight. And I struggled. I will be straightforward with you. It is very hard to shoot with a lens with this much reach under the basket. So I had to get creative. So of course, on my second body, I had the 24-70 for any wide shots when they pushed the basket. And I would use the 135 as they were coming down the court or if they were playing defense at the other end. And then I tried to shoot from some other locations to try to make this lens work the best it could for basketball. So I shot from the side of the court. I didn't shoot from the corner. I kind of shot slightly up the court towards center court, but on the side as they were playing defense at one end. And then also while they're doing offense at the other end, and just try to find areas that work. So I backed off the court a little bit, and just to see if I can get it to work in any way. And when it hit focus very, very well. The issue is when they're pushing the basket and you're under the basket, you're going to run into an area where they're too close for the focusing because the minimum focusing distance. So some of the shots are out of focus. I'm not going to show those obviously, but you'll see that in my shots, they're pretty close, they're pretty tight, and you're not seeing much of the other team because of how close this lens is. Unlike with a 70-200, you could always zoom out once they get closer, and then you could zoom into 200. So 135 isn't too long, but if you're trying to cover the sport with one lens and you're shooting under the basket or in the corner it probably would have been fine, but the corners were pretty crowded last night, so I didn't go to the corners at all to even see if it would work. And I don't really like the angle from the corners very often. So with that said, I don't know if I would suggest this as a basketball lens, though I did get out a little bit and just shot some stuff around town, and I liked the focal length. I still probably would prefer something a little shorter, a little wider. 85 is, I think, for a prime, such a solid focal length. And so I thought maybe a 135 would be even better to get what I was going for with an 85. But I think I've come to realize that I liked the 85 in the past because it was a 1.8 and it wasn't too long. So using it for basketball was really easy and a really solid lens. Though it was nice to have a 1.8 in this lens to have the extra stop of light. Any extra light you can get in this gym is appreciated. And so that was nice. I was able to lower my ISO a little bit and keep my shutter speed at a decent speed. And speaking of shutter speed, I was around 1/800 to 1/1000th. And then my ISO was around, I think I was around 3000, 3200 most of the time, depending on where I was shooting at. So overall, it's a solid lens. It's very, very sharp. The autofocus is super, super fast. And if it's a focal length that you already like in an older lens, this lens is going to do just as fine. It's going to be super sharp, super fast, and an RF, if you're matching it up with a full frame, it's very, very solid. I can't speak for anything other than full frame. I haven't shot crop sensor with any of these lenses, but very solid lens. Just not for me. I almost prefer my 24-70 and my 85 if I'm going to be doing a 2-camera setup for basketball. So sadly, with ice storms, I didn't get to try this at the track meet because it was delayed and I have to send it back before this weekend's track meet. So I would have really liked to try out some events with the 85 in track, but I'm not going to be able to, or with the 135 in track, but I'm not going to be able to. So I'll just bust out my 85 for the first time this year in track and see how that goes. But With that said, I'd appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.